Now we're talking, this is, the time is 10 minutes to 11 p.m.
Hello, Jeff. Thank you so much for the 100 sampling. I appreciate it. All right, I was taking a look at the request that was considered technical department with the situation, and the resolution that was sent here was that your phone is connected to the network, that you have also good coverage, and there are no issues with the service in your area.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
And you know what? I'm not. If there's no issues with the tower in my area, which is less than 2 miles away from me, when I try to call somebody that's across the street, I don't have any power bars, and I've got a terrible signal. But when I call 611, I have all the power bars that I need. Now I had a block on my phone so that I wouldn't be getting harassing phone calls from numbers that were coming in private. I I disabled that, and I had a friend of mine who lives in Pennsylvania call me, and my calls are still going directly to my answering machine. I have lost $1,200 worth of work in the last 45 days. I was on the phone with you for 4 hours today. You have failed to correct this problem. I was just, I was not able to get to, and I've been told to go to the store, to the Cricket store, and if I do that, I'll be able to get my phone refreshed. I've had to do that, and then I'm able to receive calls for anywhere between a few minutes to a few hours, and then they'll start going back uh, into my answering machine. And the nature of my business is that I will lose jobs if people can't immediately get a hold of me. You're messing with my feng shui. You're ruining my reputation. I have removed the block from my phone, so now I'm going to get calls from a crazy person who's been bugging me for a few months because now I don't have a block on my phone. And I don't even have the app. And I'm still not getting calls. So, you know what? That didn't have anything to do with what you're doing from your remote computer. My attorney is using experts because we're going to sue you. And one of the experts he uses happens to work for Cellular One, which is also an AT&T company like yours is. So I know all about this now. You are consciously, deliberately going into your remote computer and making it so that my calls go into my answering machine instantly. I do not even have a facility on my ZTE phone to decide to do that myself. And today, I redid my voice message machine so that I can get messages 3 times and work this all out. You've given me a code which I punched into which is supposed to activate and verify or whatever my answering service with you, and it said it was successfully entered. And as soon as that happened, all of the data in my network connections, in my settings, was erased.
I understand, and I really apologize for the inconvenience.
Yeah, your apology, it's not an inconvenience. When you lose $1,200, when you can't work, you don't eat, and that is not an inconvenience, that's a hardship. That's one of the reasons I'm suing you. And you know, before this problem started to happen, I was suing you for other legitimate causes. This is just the latest in the chain of events. Connect me with a supervisor, please.
Sure, 1 second, please.
Yes. I had a call blocker on my phone which rejects people that are calling me with a private number. Because of the experience that I've been having for the last month, I decided to delete it. Because I'm just thinking maybe the app is bad. So I deleted it. And my calls are still going into my directly into my answering machine without ringing my phone. And sometimes it takes me a long time to get notice with your company that I do have a voicemail waiting. And I've lost $1,200 worth of work in the last 45 days. And apparently, and I've made 4 trips, which is like many miles round trip for me. I'm on a bicycle because my car was stolen and I only had liability, so I'm out of luck. So I've ridden on some very busy thoroughfares, a 66-year-old guy on a bicycle, and I've done this 4 times. Apparently you will no longer refresh my phone if I do it from my home. I have to have the Cricket store do it. I was also told if I go to the Cricket store they could check my phone to see if it was defective. But they don't do that there. They don't check my phone. They don't troubleshoot. Today you want to troubleshoot with me, but you're insisting that I have 2 phones to use. When I do have 2 lines, I got call waiting. It took me an hour to get somebody to give me the settings that go in my phone. That is how dedicated your customer service is to providing service.
Okay, I understand. So the main problem right now is that you're not able to receive the calls after you got that app and it's no longer on your phone, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, I do suggest that you call us before for that same thing, just and a case was open before to find out why.
That's right. And the thing is, I was told that you have a technical department, but you really don't. And today, I found out just how savvy your customer service department is at servicing a phone. You know, a real technician would already know about the phone. And they would be able to just immediately tell me, well, go to this page and go to that page and then do this. But no, your customer service people have to open up a manual for the phone, and they still don't know how to do it.
Listen, so what is good over here? We actually try every step that we usually do to be able to fix the issue. If we open a case before to request the issue be solved, that means that we already try everything.
Well, the thing is, when your customer service representative, who is really not a technician, called me up to impersonate a technician, that call went right into my answering machine. So I expect that this case is still open and still escalated.
Well, actually, so since we hear the case, we will be already closed.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You closed the case because your remote computer, this is in your remote computer, this isn't my phone. You have it programmed into your remote computer not only to not allow me to answer my phone, but your remote computer is doing something else too. The reason I'm ostensibly suing you, one of the main reasons is that in your terms and conditions, on my $30 plan, when my gigabyte of high speed is gone, you can only throttle me back to 128 kilobytes per second. That's the slowest speed that your terms and conditions guarantees to me. And I've already had several people admit that to me. Well, several other people are telling me, no, well, once your high speed's gone, then you really can't use your phone.
But
I am a half of a mile away from the tower. And unless I'm calling 611 and talking to you, I don't have any signal. I don't have any signal bars at all. And if I try to call a person who's across the street, the call will get dropped, it might not go through, and that's because you have programmed your remote computer to give me 1/2 of a kilobyte per second. Unless I'm talking to you. And you know I'm paying for more than 1/2 of a kilobyte per second. On 128 kilobytes per second, I can get into any website I want, I just can't stream. But you're not even letting me do that. Get into websites.
okay, I understand the gist, but a bunch of things will happen, regardless with the speed of the internet, that can vary depending on the phone that you have.
No, it isn't. Look, I've got an expert who works, whose regular job is at Cellular One, which is another AT&T company. That's not the way it works, dear. This phone is fast enough. So this phone works at 128 kilobytes per second. You're just not sending me the signal that fast. That's how it works. And that is a product of somebody programming what is called the remote computer, which is in effect your system. It is not mine. And wait a minute, I've also had speed checks done. I got an account for my phone with Geek Squad. And lately you've been saying, well, maybe your phone's broken. Well, you know what? Geek Squad can remote into my phone. There's nothing wrong with my phone. It's you. And they're going to testify to that in federal court. I've given an attorney $700. He is waiting, and right now we got 1,668 people, unless there have been more that have contacted my attorney. And we got 668 people who have these same problems with you. And they all seem to have a pay-as-you-go account. So you treat your customers differently as far as service goes, but that's not what your terms and conditions say. Now, I've talked to ZTE. I was actually able to get one of them on the phone because I'm their customer. He sold me one of their phones. They have a USA number that I can call, and I've explained the problem to them. The processor in this phone is is more than able to run a hotspot. It will deal with much more speed than 128 kilobytes per second, but I'm only getting 1/2 a kilobyte per second. When I called them up this morning and had my speed checked, I also had my speed checked at 2 other websites that I was able to get into. I don't know how. You have violated your own terms and conditions. That is why my attorney is suing you, because he knows he can win. They don't take loser cases. And what he's doing is he's going to make a class action suit out of it. And I still have 2 years to bring this to fruition in federal court. But I've already paid the guy's retainer.
I understand.
Well, if you understood, if the people in your facility understood, I would be getting calls right now. I would not have to make a 6-mile round trip on heavily trafficked streets. Yesterday, you guys, I paid $10 for a new SIM card. And I put that SIM card in, and the guy called me up, and my phone rang for for a minute. My phone, I got a minute's worth of rings out of my phone. And that worked for a few hours, and when I woke up this morning, I'm not getting calls that I'm supposed to get because they're going straight into my answering machine. So apparently your remote computer is doing this, and it's not doing it on its own. It's been programmed to do it. So says the expert for my attorney. Now you've got to change that. You've got to have an actual technician who has access to the remote computer give me 128 kilobytes per second, because that speed is set by what is known as the remote computer. And my ability to receive my calls without them going directly to my answering machine is also a function that is controlled from your facilities, not on my phone.
I understand, but in two cases, what happens is, that with your data, as it is right now that it's true, the actual speed that I can see here on your phone that you're receiving is at 128 kilobytes.
Well, you know, that's because, wait a minute, that's because that is, like, I already, see, she's going to talk. You know, I told you that I get signal but I've got to be talking to you to get signal and to get speed. I know I'm getting 128 kilobytes per second now because I've got all the signal bars lit up. But when you disconnect from me, I won't have I won't have any bars. I won't have any signal. That's also a function of your remote computer, because they don't want to say, well, we disconnected him from talking to us, but you've disconnected me from being able to deal with anybody else. And that is the thing that's coming from your remote computer, because you're cheating me out of data speed. I used to have the most expensive plan you offer with hotspot. And it says on your website, bring your own phone. So I brought my phone, which is a Samsung, which apparently is also a model of Samsung that you sell. But it doesn't matter, because all these Samsung Androids are the same. And I used that hotspot in the phone that I brought for 3 weeks. And then you cut me off. And then you gave me this excuse when I call customer service, well, that phone's not compatible with our service. But the thing is, you're advertising my phone on the web. So it is, and I know that Samsungs are compatible with your service because I used it for 3 weeks. But I needed to use a hotspot, so I got a phone from you. And the same thing started to happen again. But it didn't happen before, after I got my phone, I didn't use the hotspot in it for a few days. I didn't wanna. I wanted to see what would happen. So when I finally hooked up my hotspot and checked my data usage for my hotspot for the last few days, you were taking megabytes off of my data when I'm not even using my hotspot. And you're not allowed to do that. Those are separate accounts. I paid for them separately. And so says my attorney. And he's won these cases before.
You've been having different issues.
No, hey, listen. The issue is you're lying to me. The issue, the basic, excuse me, honey. Wait. The issue is you're lying to me right now. You're lying to me right now. When I am out of high-speed data, and you know I've never gotten high-speed data from you. I'm supposed to get 3 megabytes per second high-speed data. So says a person who's impersonating a technician. You don't have any technicians that talk to your customers. And when your remote computer kicked the person who called me up, who was going to impersonate that technician, and the only thing you could get was my answering machine, then you decided that my case was closed. When you have proof positive that it shouldn't be closed, because you're trying to get me, and the phone immediately goes to my answering machine. So you saw the problem occur, and you closed my case. I want you to write another trouble ticket right now.
Now, unfortunately, yes, we cannot do that because to be able to finish.
It took me more than a month. I had called you up when this problem started, and you told me you were doing a trouble ticket that night, that day. But I'd found out that it was almost a month before the trouble ticket you're looking at was filed. That was filed on the 23rd. I tried to get that trouble ticket instituted on the 28th of the last month previous. And you told me you filed a trouble ticket. I didn't find out until a couple of days ago that you lied to me about that. Now, I hate to disturb you, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about the law as it works in the jurisdiction in the country where I'm at. When I call customer service, and your recording said that the lawyers wanted me to tell you that your call's being recorded, that means that I have the legal right to turn on my webcam on my laptop. And I have the legal right to turn on my speakerphone. And I have the legal right to videotape my conversation with you.
Okay, that is just a minute that you're recording this conversation.
What it means is that when you get pissed off and hang up on me, and I put this video on the web,
I won't be able to provide you more assistance.
you're not providing me with any. You just told me you weren't going to provide me with any anyway. I told you I needed a trouble ticket filed. See, this is how these fuckers are. This is how these fuckers are. This is Dmitry Ivanovich with the naked truth.